Alright, let's check out the broken Battle Bond Greninja. I lead with the Colossal, with my opponent starts off with the Shaman, goes right for the Substitute, as I set up my Stealth Rocks. Fearing the potential setup move, I decide to stay in as he goes for the Leech Seed. I connect with the Overheat, breaking the sub. The little Hedgehog is able to outsmart the Coal Monster. Unfortunately, Colossal can't do much here, so I decide to switch into my Meloetta as the Shaman sets up another Substitute. Meloetta gets some luck as Shaman fires off a Leech Seed but completely misses. I go for the Hyper Voice, go right past the sub, get that big damage. Trying to preserve Shaman, my opponent switches into the Umbreon. I go for another Hyper Voice, get some good damage. Hoping for the KO, I go for another Hyper Voice, but Umbreon just hangs on and is able to set up the Wish. Expecting the Protect, I switch into my Tankathunk, who starts breaking that mold. Umbreon actually fires off the Toxic, but that does not affect the Hammer. After getting almost all of his health back, the Umbreon switches into the Clodsire, as I try to catch the Umbreon in an Encore. On the next turn, I rip off the Gigaton Hammer, get some good damage. He retires with the Earthquake, does some big damage. Wanting to preserve my Tankathunk, I switch into my Grumpig as he goes for the Recover, gets all of that health back. Predicting the obvious Psychic move, he goes back into the Umbreon as my Psychic does absolutely nothing. Grumpig can't do too much here, so I switch back into the Meloetta as Umbreon wishes upon a star. Meloetta doesn't appreciate that, so screams really loud at Umbreon, as Umbreon goes for that Foul Play, gets that huge damage. And after all that, almost gets all of its health back from the Wish. Just like in the beginning of the battle, I switch Tankathunk into the Umbreon. As it goes for the Foul Play, Tankathunk just hangs on. Expecting the Fairy move, he switches back into the Clodsire, but I end up going for the Encore, which does absolutely nothing again. Just like before, I go back into my trusted Clodsire, counter the Grumpig as he tanks the Earthquake, no problem. Expecting to switch back into Umbreon, I go for the Focus Blast but completely miss. Thankfully, I'm able to tank the Gunk Shot. After the miss and expecting another Poison move, I go into my Dragon Ball as I tank the Gunk Shot, no issues. My opponent goes back into the Umbreon, but I make an aggressive play going for the Dragon Dance, getting my boost. Despite this, even with the boost, Umbreon's still able to tank those Dragon Darts. And then retaliates with the Foul Play, taking out my Dragapult. It's okay, because at this point we're about to reveal the MVP of the show, the Greninja. Trying to preserve Umbreon, my opponent goes for the Protect as I go for the Hydro Pump, do absolutely nothing. My opponent then switches into the Shaman, but I decide to switch it up, go for the Ice Beam, take out the Shaman. And this is all Greninja needs to reactivate that Battle Bond, get all those boosts, and now we're ready to do some damage. As my opponent goes into the Cleaver, I go for the Hydro Pump, take him out in one shot. My opponent then reveals the Slowbro, but that's not a problem for Greninja. Outspeed, go for the Dark Pulse, take out the Slowbro. My opponent then goes back into his trusty Waldy Umbreon, goes for the Protect, just trying to stall out Greninja a little bit, as my Ice Beam does nothing. On the next turn, I'm able to outspeed, go for the 100% accurate Ice Beam, take out the Umbreon. My opponent then reveals their last Pokemon, the Sneasler. With those boosts, Greninja's able to outspeed, go for the Hydro Pump, take out Sneasler in one shot. My opponent's last Pokemon is in the Clodsire. Not sure if Clodsire was packing the Water Absorb, so I go for the Ice Beam, get some guaranteed damage. They go for the Gunk Shot, finally take out Greninja. I then go back into my Grumpig. Able to outspeed, I go for the Psychic, take out the Clodsire. Good game. Alrighty, let's get into game number 2 and check out Roaring Moon. I lead out with the Torkoal and my opponent goes with the Skarmory. My turtle sets up the Sun, and then we decide to exchange some hazards. The Skarmory then decides to set up some rocks, but we're about to go into our big threat. I go for the Lava Bloom and the red card switches me into the Roaring Moon. I get the Photosynthesis activated, and now we're ready to do some big damage. I go for the knockoff, take out the Skarmory. My opponent's next Pokemon is in the Shiny Beetle. I'm able to outspeed, go for the Dragon Claw, take out the Heracross. Up 2-0, my opponent's next Pokemon is in the Gyarados. Takes a lot of damage from the rocks. Again, able to outspeed, go for the knockoff, take out the Gyarados. Roaring Moon cannot be stopped. The next Pokemon is in the big wall, the Blastoise. Able to outspeed, I go for the knockoff, take him out in one shot too. Roaring Moon just needs one boost. My opponent then forfeits. Good game. Alrighty, and that's the video. Please let me know what you guys think down below and stay tuned for future content. Peace.